I think we owe our listeners the truth. Evan was actively rooting against the Lions during this football game.
Evan wants Bryce Young?
Hand up.
Cheers to episode 88.
Cheers. 88.
I got Evan's favorite in this thing. Crown Royal Whiskey Lemonade.
Yes.
Long week, Grant.
I should have like 7 of those right now. I'm so ready just to get like Western Michigan just all over again.
At the wedding.
No, I'm just anywhere. I could do it right now and I would be happy with my life.
Did you guys say water?
Oh, yeah, water, yeah.
I'm a loser.
It's all right. Oh, you're a winner. You're Zoom. If you
I'm here.
Evan had technical difficulties, but he's here. We
I'm
almost
just the
thought
biggest piece of I am. I'm bringing this podcast down.
Our
It's been a
contingency
rough
plan
week for Evan.
Our contingency plan was if it like drug out into, let's say, 9:30, we were just gonna text probably the degenerates group and be like, last minute, just who wants to be the third seat? First one to reply gets it. But we're here. We have a great show. You're listening to the #1 sports podcast in Michigan.
Still number one.
Still number one. Wednesday, September 14th, 9:07 p.m. And Matt Patricia's offense scored 7 points this past weekend.
I did not expect the show to start like that.
He ate more pounds of food than he did scoring points.
Easily.
Poncho Man is back.
Poncho Man is back.
What we have tonight, we have weekly check-ins. We have a decent amount of listener questions, which we'll sprinkle into the topics because they relate to a lot of the topics. So we have MSU's victory, Michigan's victory, the Lions' loss, and then we have previews for all 3 of those teams coming up here this weekend. And that will be the show. So we start with Alex. I will go first because you guys have the tailgate. I will go first. We'll let Evan catch his breath, his thoughts, his feelings as he scrambled to get on here. It's become a running joke that my recaps aren't fun, and it's not really a joke. I guess it is reality because they're not super fun. But it's because I don't really feel comfortable sharing a bunch of stuff from work. I did have a cool weekend. It was awesome. I'm a little sleep deprived, so if I say some reckless takes, that's why. I just haven't. It's my own fault. I just struggle to wind down sometimes, and I stay up too late. I think everyone can relate to that at times.
Facts, no cap, dude.
Cool. The weather. This is the reason I prefaced it with boring is because one of my bullet points was about the weather. The weather turned more fall out here, and I enjoyed a nice crisp day. It was like 60 degrees on Saturday. I had the door open, like the sliding door on the porch open all day. So that was fantastic. And then last but not least, the only big thing is I made elite chicken wings in my air fryer. And
got an air fryer.
Yeah, got an air fryer when I moved out here. I've used it. I haven't used like an oven, the actual conventional oven, maybe once or twice since I've been out here. The air fryer can do everything. You're going to think I'm crazy. The air fryer can even make a great steak.
I've seen that on TikTok.
I said it.
I'm out on that.
You should.
I mean,
give
I
it a
wouldn't
shot.
do that, but
I will make one. If I'm ever with you with an air fryer in the room, I'll make you one.
So you've already done it.
Yeah, it's not bad.
oh wow,
It's really not bad. Obviously, you can overcook it and it gets bad, but if you cook it at the right time length.
so you've done this multiple times.
I cook in the air fryer every single week. I've cooked almost everything in it. I've cooked shrimp. I've cooked hash brown potatoes. I've cooked breakfast sausage. Phenomenal in the air fryer. I've cooked bacon in the air fryer. And then the latest was chicken wings. I went to the store. I got standard
wings.
chicken wings. What is that? I wanted them saucy because I like sauce, but I didn't really want to mix it all and wait for it to, soak in like it should. So I went dry. I went black pepper. This is recipe hour because I want everyone to try this if you have an air fryer.
Write it down.
Black pepper, paprika, and then this is dealer's choice. I just found this Hy-Vee, the grocery store I'm going to now, which we've discussed before. They had a bunch of different chicken seasonings, generic chicken seasonings. I went for one that's a little lower sodium. It was branded. I'm not not trying to get hypertension or whatever it's called when you have too much sodium in your system. So I went with that. Those 3. Before you put the spices on, you got to put a little bit of olive oil so it sticks, maybe a tablespoon. I'm cooking 2 pounds, so that's a decent amount of chicken. You throw it in the air fryer. Little pro tip, preheat the air fryer. Just set it to like 400 for 4 minutes. It warms up, cooks faster. 400 degrees is what we're cooking them at. 16 total minutes, but you're flipping at 8. And you're not really flipping, you're just taking it out and shaking it around because no one's actually getting in there and flipping each one. That's too much work. Put them back in, go 16 minutes. If you want them a little bit crispier, go an extra 5, maybe an extra 8. And that'll do you. And then you just get your dips of choice. You don't even need dips. That's the beautiful part. They're good on their own, but you add your dips in, or you can put them in a sauce bucket or bowl then if you really want. So give it a try. They're phenomenal. They're better than B-dubs. They're not better than Frickers. Frickers is the GOAT. The barbecue sauce is undefeated. I have yet to be able to figure out how to make that. But yeah, I hope you guys will be trying these at some point in your life.
I'll try them this weekend.
Okay. You guys have an air fryer?
Tomorrow. Yeah.
All right. Please send a review.
I've never used one, so this will be very interesting.
Oh, now I'm nervous if you mess it up and then you're like, oh, Grant's an idiot. His recipe stinks.
Yeah. I zoned out for your whole recipe, but I'll have to go back and listen to that.
That's the beautiful thing about this show.
Yeah.
It's on record. You guys, do you guys want to tackle the tailgate first, or do you want to do your individuals and then come together for the tailgate at the end?
Well, my individual has nothing. So
Nothing?
My individual.
Yeah, no.
Let's
Nothing.
see.
B-dubs on Thursday, but Evan was there, so it's not individual.
Right.
I was there. Yep. NFL football, fantasy football is back. Yesterday, first game of the season, middle school football. Traveled up to Jackson, just the 8th grade. It did not go well, to say the least. That's putting it nicely. That is putting it nicely. Did
Final
not go
score?
well. We never had a final score. It got canceled at halftime, right before halftime. We're in downtown Jackson. Active shooter, police chase. We're in lockdown mode. Canceled the event.
What was the score?
The score was 34-0 with 3 minutes left in the half.
Dear Lord.
So here's the thing. 2 things about this. One, safe to say if there was a Tecumseh middle school football account, it would be the time when they wouldn't post the final score graphic because it'd be really embarrassing.
Correct. We would post that all of our kids are safe. They're back with their families. Thank you for your cooperation in an uncertain event.
2, talk to the kids post-game once they settle from a scary situation. Gentlemen, we didn't lose this game. We just ran out of time. And really,
we had him in the second half. We were going to make so many adjustments. We had him in the second half. I believe it.
I think so. So what? These kids are too big, too fast. It's Jackson.
They had some athletes on their team. We didn't play well.
They're a good program. They got what? Tony Dungy Field up there. Like
Dungy Field. They have a brand new indoor complex.
What?
Yes, right behind the first base dugout of the baseball field. Right behind that, there is a brand new indoor barn, just right there.
For football?
Football, I think it's just an indoor training facility for any sport.
Christ, Jackson,
everybody's getting them.
Now they can build that, but they can't move their night lights out of their baseball field.
No, that's too difficult.
Fun fact: probably the most unsafe baseball field in the entire country, I would say that, where they have light poles in the middle of center field. Yeah. Just an absolute hazard.
The light poles and the scoreboard. Those poles are in left field,
Yeah. Not the middle of, I'm being dramatic, but warning track. Imagine you're chasing a fly ball to the track and you just pancake up against the pole. I can't believe they haven't had to change that yet. And obviously they have money. They built an indoor facility.
Yeah.
Tony Dungy has money.
Other than that, I think that was the excitement. Monday Night Football. Had to cancel on you guys on Monday. I'm a piece of shit.
No, you're not. Things happen, Evan.
So, yeah, then the weekend.
And Sunday Night Football, I know you guys didn't watch. You guys watch Dragons.
Yeah, okay. Funny story, Grant. I'm glad you brought that up. I was just, Monday morning kind of sitting there just reminiscing of what I was doing Sunday night. I was like, I wonder if Grant feels good about how awful that Sunday Night Football game was. Just a kick fest. Just a boring kick fest. Nothing happened. And while Alex and I got to enjoy House of Dragons live.
Yeah. In a bonk episode.
I might have to rewatch all of the episodes just to get to that episode. I gotta just catch up, make sure I know what's going on, see if I miss any details.
If it was a football game, you guys would be 1-0 after this week. You guys would be 1-0.
I think
Dragons would be 1-0.
I think we're going to be 2-0 next week.
Bears Packers this week. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
I think that became a game because of the storylines now. I think that's a game. Because if somehow the Bears do win, that is like you need to see all the memes that come out of that game. Tailgate time.
Was fun.
Tailgate was electric. Thanks to the hosts.
Good food. Much better setup this time.
Money, Cody, and Paige. They were great hosts. Great spot.
Lovely couple.
Lovely.
Good friends. Good time. A lot of drinking. Solid food for us being in charge of it.
Evan, how much drinking? What was your pace?
Nothing crazy this time.
No, nothing crazy. I told myself I wasn't going to get dragged into the game again. And it also got pretty hot there for a little bit where you're just like, I need to find shade or I need to sit down because it is just, the sun is beating down on me.
It was warm.
Did you have like hour-long timer set to go off that just said mix in a water? Or what was your strategy? Just like, you didn't need to write anything down. It was like, I'm just going to be responsible today.
I'm just going to be responsible. I had my pace, and then right before the stadium, liquid IV into a big water bottle.
Evan drinks 3 liquid IVs a day.
I do not drink 3 a day. I do not drink 3 a day. I drink 1. Typically, I drink 1 every single night with dinner.
Interesting.
I mean, that's expensive, Evan.
I wonder if the people of Liquid IV would even recommend doing that.
I don't know. I saw an advertisement on TikTok the other day. It was like this lady was like participating in like activities, and she was just like drinking them every single day, like 4 or 5.
Evan, you could just drink more water.
I do drink water. I chug water every single day.
More water.
It adds flavor. It adds a little good. Makes my mind feel better about myself that I'm doing something for it.
All right. Well, good for you, man.
Thanks. Speaking of Liquid IV, and it's not fair to bring it up because she's not here to defend herself, but Marissa told me something this week that I thought was laugh out loud funny, and I can't picture her being embarrassed by it, but she texted me saying that she feels weird whenever she has a Powerade or Gatorade in class because when she drinks it in class, she feels like a child. And I just
feels like a child for drinking Powerade in class.
Like it's like a little sippy cup or something. Like I'm drinking like a fruit juice. It's like
are you holding it 2 hands and barely tipping it up?
Again,
like drinking it like this, and then
we might have to ask a follow up. But I'm just like,
yeah, I don't
like no. What you're in, like.
Do you ask somebody to open it for you every single time you try to take a sip out of it?
Yeah, like, I don't get it.
Maybe if it was one of the little spin and suck bottles, I could see you feeling like a child because that is like a little sippy cup. Like
I would feel so good about that. Those caps just hit differently.
Well, you would feel good about that.
Yes.
Yeah. What, Alex?
Nothing.
I mean, you just watched Thrones this week, and I know what you're thinking about.
Wow. You didn't watch it yet?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Oh.
Last night was probably my best window to watch it, so might have to do a double dip.
Thanks,
at some
Evan.
point.
The late cancellation ruined Grant's night.
No, last night
the show.
Last night was early. I just like laid down after work. You know when you decompress, and I didn't move for a couple hours.
Yeah,
I was stuck on the couch. All right, I say we move into Michigan State football on the field. Their victory over Akron. It was 52-0 was the final score of this game. Before we get into deep diving into, no, actually we'll wait. We'll wait for that question later. We have one MSU fan question. I'm trying to keep them organized so we get to all of them.
Yeah, you didn't put them in here, so we don't know what they are.
I know. I want to surprise you guys with them. This is the MSU question from an anonymous source because some people did attach their names this week. How do Alex and Evan feel about Peyton Thorne so far?
This is definitely from Ben.
No, because Ben V submitted 3 and put his name on all of them.
Respect.
Evan, I'll let you go first.
Okay, first, there should not be a quarterback controversy.
That wasn't the question, Evan.
I understand, but that's
I think there is one
what
now.
people are hinting at. Stop,
Grant.
Your quarterback
guys.
controversies in Ann Arbor.
Grant.
No, one is the crazy thing is one died and one was birthed.
No, one is not birth.
Grant, don't be serious.
Okay. 2.
I'm not. Wait. I'm not being serious. But when we talk about losers in every fan base, Barcelona MSU posted the no Kim touchdown highlight, and my sicko brain went to look at the comments, and like 50% were like QB1, him, start him now. So people are talking about it on Instagram. That's all I saw.
It's very stupid.
Alex is angry.
People are so dumb.
2, Evan. 2 to you.
2. Thorne has not played well. I think a lot of people know that. I think he'd be the first person to admit that.
Yeah, he said he sucked.
Basically. Some poor throws. I don't think the Western game was, he 50% one bad throw. This game, 2 bad throws and a lot of easy misses, I would say. Just unlike him. However, you are facing Akron. It is the second half. You do not need to put anything on film. There is no point as an offensive coordinator to call a flea flicker. No point.
Wait, did you guys call one?
Yeah,
that's how we threw a second interception.
So Evan took this Peyton Thorne question.
Yeah,
and
he's going to
it into Jay Johnson being an idiot.
Jay Johnson bad at calling
I
plays
see what you
versus
did
inferior opponents. He doesn't know how to game manage in situations. Here's an idea. Your quarterback is struggling. How about we set up some easy throws, a little bootleg, get him out on the run.
I like that.
Instead of, no, we're going to do a flea flicker. They sent a house. It was cover 4. He gets hit when he threw it, and it was just a wobbly duck. Bad play call, first of all. Should he have thrown it? No, I'm not giving that away from him. I'm just saying it's Akron. You don't need to run your trick plays. Everybody already knows you do trick plays from last year. But Thorne needs to play better.
Wow.
Jay Johnson, hot seat.
52 burger, hot seat.
Ridiculous, Evan.
Hot seat, Alex. I was screaming it in the stadium.
He did not scream Jay Johnson's on the hot seat as someone who sat next to him. He did not scream that.
I was screaming about his choices.
No, you were saying it in private. You were screaming about other things, mainly the refs. Mainly the clock management of the refs and the subbing and all that. Yeah, that's what you're mad about. Quick stat for you. Peyton Thorne, when throwing to anybody but Keon Coleman, has 10 incompletions. When throwing to Keon Coleman, he has 12 incompletions. So there seems to be a chemistry issue with those two. A lot of his high balls have been to Keon. I don't know what the deal with that is. Just thought it was interesting. 12 incompletions. Well, 6 of 18 to Keon
He keeps
Coleman.
hearing everyone say he's 6'5", so he thinks he can sling a little bit high. And then it's like, well, he's not that tall.
Second thing, I'm not a QB guru, but I have noticed
you're not.
On some of his incompletions, he's looks like he's just standing flat-footed on 2 feet throwing. Like, I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to throw like that.
No.
Not a genius, but it looks weird. I don't know why he's doing it. Kind of leaning back on his back foot and then sailing it high. You know, just an observation. Should I be concerned long-term? No, not yet. But we'll find out more. And I do think the play calling hasn't been fantastic, but I think it's on purpose because we don't need to open up the playbook to beat JV teams. So that's my thought on that.
I don't know what I think is more absurd. Evan continually just chopping Jay Johnson and Alex just carrying his water saying, yeah, he's just saving all his good plays for later.
Well, we played Akron and we scored 52 points, so I can't yell at a guy for putting up 52 points.
Well, the reason for that is, and this is funny, the minute I saw Akron's QB take the field, I'm like, oh, this guy's a dog, but he's going to turn the ball over like probably 5 times, but this kid is actually a dog. Like, he was making some plays. He was athletic. Yeah. He reminded me of App State's QB when they upset Michigan. I was like, this kid actually is like pretty athletic and can make plays, but they're probably going to have a million turnovers this game.
Whatever.
As people that were in the stadium, we didn't know this, but according to the broadcast, according to sources that were watching the game, the quarterback went out of the game. The first quarterback he got transported straight to the hospital.
Really?
Yeah, he got like decapitated on play.
I must have zoned out for that. Me too.
But then the white kid came in and he was
Cal. They said, "How are you doing?"
He was not good at football.
No. My 2 cents on Thorne, just because they didn't ask me, but I did look at it. I mean, I kind of said what you guys said. Something does look a little off with Thorne. He doesn't look as crisp, leading guys, hitting guys in stride as he did at his peak last year. So I was like, all right, eye test wise, it looks a little off. What if we dive into some numbers? So I pulled up his stat lines through 2 games last year. And you think about last year, it was
Northwestern and Youngstown State.
And Youngstown, so 2 inferior opponents. It's a Big Ten school, but Northwestern was cheeks last year. Shot Northwestern. So this was last year. 30 of 46. This year, 30 of 52. Not that different.
No.
Yards last year, 457. Yards this year, 445. Not that different.
No.
Touchdowns last year, 5. Touchdowns this year, 4. Interceptions last year, 0. Interceptions this year, 3. So if you remove all the missed throws away, he's not that many incompletions off. It's just those picks that are kind of making it look a little grosser, along with the eye test of what we've seen. And so think about comparing them to his first 2 games. Because people are comparing his peak from last year compared to these 2. But if you compare him to his first 2 games last year, it's not that different. So there is room for him to get back on track fast. It's just you kind of need him to get back on track fast because you have a more real test this week.
Correct.
With that being said as well, Noah Kim, absolute dot of a touchdown. He is my guy, and he continues to make plays.
Good guy. Good backup to have.
And good play.
Good player for now.
Made a great
inferior
that touchdown was a
competition.
great play. Evan, touchdown was a great play.
It was nice.
It was a good throw.
Nice.
It was.
On the run. Dime. Yeah. That's nice.
Will one of you get your coach a towel?
Yeah, his fit sucked. I just want to get that out there.
Wow.
His outfit was bad.
Fit,
I
please.
hated it. Told Evan that. And also, before we keep talking about Mel Tucker, I just want to say that Kendall Brooks is indeed the best player in the country.
Oh, my guy could not have made me look smarter.
Oh, we were sitting there.
Even Marquis Lowry had a tackle for you, Grant. You were in heaven that day.
Did he really?
I didn't know every single time. Just be like, gosh, Grant is having a day.
The kid is so good.
He is looking pretty good so far.
Anytime he puts his helmet around the ball carrier, the ball's coming out. More often than not, the ball's out.
He hits hard.
If you saw him running towards a skill player from 10 yards away, you can just say balls out when they're 5 yards away. Because the ball's probably going to pop out because he just knows how to put his face mask on it.
Form tackling.
Any other major takeaways you guys had, feelings you felt from the Akron game?
It's hard to judge an Akron team. I have one.
Jaden Reed can still punt return.
Yeah,
Got called back. But still the capability, it was an 80-some yarder. Got called back, though. Other than that, speed is very noticeable up front in the front 7 compared to last year. We had a lot of pressures, but there's a difference between getting the quarterback pressures and sacks. Right now, we currently lead the country in sacks. Yes, it was against inferior opponents, but they still matter. There's a difference between a pressure and a sack, and I think it's carrying over compared to last year. And because you're going to need it next week. I don't care about the coverage. You need the fastest guys out there because we'll preview it, but you need as much speed on the field as possible.
Yeah. Defense. This seemed like in the stadium, this defense just hits way harder than a defense I've seen from Michigan State in a few years. They're just crushing people over and over again. It shows by all the fumbles. So shout out whoever's teaching them to hit harder. And then the other thing, only other point, our kicker made a field goal. I think that's important going into the Washington game because he didn't make one in the first week, and he made a 43-yarder. It's down the middle, looked good from 55. So important to see for a guy that has attempted 2 kicks now in his career.
Same guy?
Yeah, true freshman Jack Stone.
Nice. I wrote that this game, if you're doing a theme, it was the running back game, Berger and Broussard. It was, I guess, nice to see Michigan State just have like a full-on physicality game where like we're just tougher than you. Like we don't need Peyton Thorne to shred you. We're just gonna run on you, and they both look good. Broussard still catches my eye a lot. He just looks explosive, and he's like that sneaky little back that can pop through holes that you don't think are there. So I still am very high on him. Would you guys care to give an injury report for anyone going into from this game that is important for next week?
I'll go first. There's so much speculation on Reed. Some people are saying he's not going to play. Some people say he's going to play. I heard he was
from the bench incident.
Bench, yes.
Yeah. I saw that live. I was all over that. The announcers were like, "Oh, I don't know what he did." Like, I mean, they showed a replay. He speared the bench speared his back.
I heard he got stitches.
Cut his back too. Ugh.
Can't confirm it. Do not source us. And then I don't know anything on Slade. I just know there's some people out there not going to name names. Are like, yeah, they're both just not going to play. But Tucker doesn't give any injury reports, so.
From what was seen on the broadcast with Jaden Reed, trainer was holding a towel over his back, which was a cut on his back. He might have had stitches. No one knows that for sure. No one's ever going to know that. I would say the chances of him playing is like 95%.
I like it.
Slade, I have no idea.
The back has to just be a massive softball-sized bruise. Like, gotta be so purple. And then they just like, you could just shoot him up with something, like a little bit extra strength Tylenol before the game starts. You're good to go. Because it's just a bruise. It's going to be a little stiff. You just got to stretch out. And
it's like a cut and a bruise, probably. He's fine. He's going to play. It's not like he tore his hamstring.
That's why God invented back plates. You just put that on. And
right. Put a little extra tape. You'll be fine. Slade, I didn't even know he was hurt, honestly, until you guys just said that. And then I realized he did go off the field. Based on the lack of reporting about him, I would say he probably will play. If not, Maverick Hansen played pretty okay against Akron, and you still have Simeon Barrow.
And Alex Van Summeren.
Van Summeren might play a little bit more, and who's 41 is...
Derek Harmon, ginormous human being.
Derek Harmon, Barrow, Hansen. Van Summeren's going to have to play if Slade can't go solely because of the tempo and the sling it, chuck it football that Washington's going to.
Yeah, I feel good about those guys rotating, so I wouldn't be that worried.
I just realized on the show sheet I put the Lions to go first, but on my personal sheet I had MSU, so that explains why we went MSU first, if there was any confusion in the Zoom.
I was going to say something, but I didn't.
Injury report noted. My last thing, which is kind of our talking point that we can touch on later, is I feel like if we look back to last year, there was a lot more momentum going into Miami as it feels like going into Washington this year. I could be totally wrong because you guys just won 52-0, but like the vibe check. For vibe checking is hard.
I can explain it very easily.
It feels like there's more nerves going into Washington. Like when we went down to Miami, I still thought Michigan State would lose, but it was like Tuck's coming and he's taking over Florida because you spanked Northwestern and had a Heisman running back. Whereas now it's like, I don't really know how this game's going to go.
It's very simple. Expectations last year, none. Everyone thought their win total was under like 5 games. They were underdogs to Northwestern. So when you win 2 games out of the gate and you have a quarterback that's not Rocky Lombardi, everyone's feeling good. This year, you're a top 15 team, and everyone is just nitpicking everything in every single game because we're playing weak competition. And we want this team to be so good, and everyone expects this team to be so good that we're just overanalyzing the living piss out of it. So now we only see the negatives. We're not seeing any positives. The fan base. I see some positives. Evan sees some positives.
Well, you guys know ball.
Is very negative.
You guys know ball. So
we know college football analysts.
Yes.
And I think nationally, there's a lot of pundits who are still going to be skeptical because they were so wrong last year about how I was saying like this team was still going to stink. And like, there's a lot of people I think in the national media that refuse to believe you can just rebuild a team every year through the transfer portal.
They hate it. They hate the idea of it.
Oh, Michigan State can't sustain last season. They lost K9. Like, they can't rebuild again. There's no way all the transfers hit. So they're just going to be like, oh, they're going to lose to Washington when they easily could go into Washington and win.
Yeah, national pundits just look at box scores and then they look at bringing in transfers. They don't realize that Michigan State's recruited better. We've got good transfers. We have the best transfer in the country again, in my opinion. So we're 2 for 2.
Does that check out? Jordan Addison?
Williams is
Caleb
good.
Williams?
All right, we have the best defender from the transfer portal and the best offensive player from the year before.
Defender might check out. At least so far, you have to say yes.
He's the highest graded defender in the country.
Well, we don't worry about PFF. We just worry about stats.
He is National Defensive Player of the Week and two-time Big Ten Defensive Player of the Week. So, yes, he is the best defender right now and leads the country in sacks.
All right. We'll transition to Michigan. But I did have one like funny viral clip that I just want to talk about before we get to the Michigan game.
The jump pass?
No, that was from this game.
The bad beat.
The LSU kid who was like high on shrooms who just
walked onto the field.
That's one of the craziest things I've ever seen.
I know. I was like, I know we don't talk about that stuff a lot, but that was so funny and like broke through. I was like, that's insane. He just
no one even noticed him for a while. He was just standing there.
No, and he was definitely on drugs because he didn't like react how a normal person would. He just like, oh.
He tried to fight the guy. He's like, don't touch me. Don't touch me. That was crazy.
That was awesome. And then to get in a little chop to one of my least favorite schools, Notre Dame, we have to remind ourselves on these weeks, like when you play nobodies like Hawaii and you play Akron, it's still good to beat down on teams, you know, because upsets happen. We saw that with Texas A&M, although App State's an absolute wagon now, so we can't view them as old little dinky App State. But Notre Dame losing to Marshall, an absolute joke. That they want to join the Big Ten at home, and they didn't even, it wasn't even like close. It was like a comfortable end of the game situation. Joke.
It was funny because right before that, avid listener Cody, not Mitten Money Cody, was telling me how good he thinks Notre Dame is and how good Ohio State must be. Yeah. And I was like, wow. He went to the bathroom, came back, was like, Cody, you'll never believe it. Notre Dame just lost to Marshall.
Tough week because then he just became a Liverpool fan too, and they weren't playing great ball.
Big win for them yesterday.
But yeah, that kind of resets the whole narrative about that Notre Dame Ohio State game. We have to look at it a little bit more skeptical now. Like, maybe both those teams are poopy. And Ohio State didn't cover versus Arkansas State, so I don't know what to think right now. We'll see.
It's too early to speculate.
Speaking of a team that did not cover a big spread, the Michigan Wolverines, who now have a new quarterback though, so maybe they'll start covering more in the future. 51-7 on the game notes. Alex, you took a big breath like you want to say something about this situation. Anything you want to say before we dive into the game?
I just think the Michigan fans, you should be grateful that it's over, the QB controversy. And if you boo Cade, you're a scumbag. That's all.
Facts, no cap to both of those. Booing, there's no place for it. You know, you just can't do it.
Someone that sucks and didn't do anything for you. You can boo Jared Goff against the Philadelphia Eagles when you're down 44-6 last year, Evan.
Or at halftime.
This year.
You can't boo a guy that just did something that no one's done in 12 years.
No. And I feel like deep down, if you put those people on the spot, like some of them are probably scumbags and are like, yeah, I hate Cade. Or like, I'm just sick of him. But I think it was more like the game was going so fantastic and like this buzz around JJ, which is getting out of control, which makes me nervous. But this buzz around this kid, and then he delivers, and then you bring in Cade, and then you remind how like putrid the offense can look at times, and then also the offensive line just forgot to block or didn't decide to block. It was almost like the longest yard clip where they just stopped blocking for Adam Sandler. He just got sacked, and then I think people were just like more booing it, like, oh, we can't score a touchdown right now. This is stupid. So it was a mix of like game situation and then also probably a little K too. If we're talking about people that are vocal on Twitter, Instagram, I have seen comments of people saying they did not like how Cade handled the first post-game press conference when he seemed like a little pouty and whatnot. And I don't know what to read into body language, but he also, when Davis Warren came in Hawaii, he threw a dart and then had a touchdown drive, and all the quarterbacks were there celebrating with him except for Cade in the shot. So I don't really know what's going on.
I think that is wise. I think the Davis, whatever his name is, touchdown when all the quarterbacks are celebrating. Just because Cade wasn't on the camera doesn't mean he wasn't celebrating somewhere on the sideline.
And that's why I'm going to remind myself. I'm just saying the optics when we live in a clickbait, what did you see culture, when you see every quarterback, Alan Bowman, jumping on him, and then there's no number 12. You're like, okay, what's going on?
Doesn't matter. QB2 now, so you won't see him ever again.
Confirmed Jim didn't wait around. There was no reason to. I mean, the game, his first throw, touchdown. As I said in my post-game recap, Hawaii is and then Tom Fornelli came out today with his rankings of the worst teams. Hawaii is the worst team in FBS football.
Colorado State number 2, UConn 14.
State number 2, which also goes back into the play of people Cade had just as much of an opportunity to shred a team in week 1. He did not. So when people were wondering is Colorado State better? No, not really. They're really bad teams. JJ won the job outright. It's kind of interesting, emotions during the game. Away from football, I was texting with longtime listener Brad, diehard fan Brad, who knows how to irk rival fans. He enjoys it. But we were texting in all seriousness. We were discussing, we feel really bad for Cade right now, watching him just lose his job. I know it's football. I know it's best man wins, but it was sad because you think about what you went through last year. And we were wondering out loud, and I want to ask you guys the question. We almost felt bad for saying it, but we both felt would it be best and would we feel best if he just transferred to get rid of all the awkwardness and go do what's best for him, as opposed to having to see him if he's a little sulky on game days. You see his face on the sideline because they're not going to stop talking about it. And it's there's Cade not looking super happy. Would it be best for both parties for him to transfer out while he still can before week 4?
Absolutely.
I still think he's still going to get talked about even when he does transfer.
Yeah.
There will always be that, those 2 or 3 weeks after he does transfer, it will get brought up just nonstop every press conference.
Because he's a captain.
It's awkward. Weird. It's like the Nick Foles, Carson Wentz situation.
And then it's this situation of, okay, he does transfer, but who would you rather have as a backup? Cade or Alex Bowman? If something ever would have to happen to JJ.
But Jim doesn't get to decide that, Evan.
I would take Davis Warren over Alan Bowman right now, based on what I've seen here.
Okay, Davis Warren.
Okay, yeah.
Anybody. Any 3rd or 4th string over Cade, though?
No, probably not.
See, that's the thing. 2 or 3 drives, just even if he just gets a win knocked out of him, okay? Even if he has to go get stitches, he has to go get taped. 2 or 3 drives or whatever.
Yeah,
it is in any game, any big game. Those are valuable drives. Those are valuable 100%. Possessions you get. Or if he transfers, now you don't have him for the last 8 to 10 games. I think you change the dynamic of a little bit of what you're doing offensively.
Yeah. 100%. Selfishly, football-wise, I want him to stay as a contingency plan because JJ runs like a madman sometimes. If he gets hurt, need Cade. But emotionally, what's best for him, I think, don't worry about what the media backlash is and what people call you you left, you quit. Take all that BS aside, doing what's best for you. He probably is best to transfer. He's got 3 years left.
He should leave.
And he's not bad. There's multiple Big Ten teams. He went to Iowa. They're frisky. There's what are you laughing at, Alex? He's better than Spencer.
How terrible that team is at offense.
So I don't know what's going to happen. It seems like they came out. The Michigan football account posted a video of Jim Harbaugh saying in a press conference this week, we have 2 great quarterbacks, which makes me think if they're self-aware, that may feel like Cade's not transferring. Because I don't think you post that video if you think there's an inkling that he might leave. Now he might just wait till week 4 before the deadline happens and do it. I don't really know what's going to happen.
You might play this week to get some more film out there before he transfers.
Okay, yeah, like it's a preseason NFL.
Yeah, because he's going to play. He's going to win by 60.
Should. I'd like to say this too. I was absolutely stunned that FanDuel had the cojones and whoever works there put JJ like top 5 in Heisman. I think that's a little absurd. Not third, Alex.
He's already moved up. He's already moved up to third.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
You're messing around. I'm going to go look it up. Are you lying?
Yeah,
okay. But I want to say this on the record as a Michigan fan, a pretty diehard Michigan fan. His odds did jump from plus 3,000 to plus 2,000. He's 4 now. I'm going to say this.
Blue wall.
I can definitely see things going wrong. I'm not going to be like, yeah, he's like bulletproof. They're going to be undefeated going into Columbus. Like, that's insane that people are like, yep, we're good now. He looks great. He has the most talent I've seen of a guy under Jim Harbaugh. That doesn't mean things might go wrong with turnovers and, missing guys here and there. So I'm not going to be like, yep, we're golden. It's going to be a death march with JJ until Columbus. I'm not saying that. I just want that on the record.
He's a superstar, dude.
I think he could be.
Yeah, he's the best player in the country.
Like, even when...
That's what Michigan Twitter tells me. He's the best goddamn quarterback anybody has ever seen in their life.
Even when like Shea transferred and I watched his like Ole Miss tape, I was like, this kid could be good and better than like the Wilton Spates and O'Corns, but I didn't think he was gonna change the landscape of college football and be like a front runner. Now I know the crazy Michigan fan base like, yeah, this guy's sweet. Look, he was a high recruit, but JJ by far eye test has the most talent of anyone. So I am very excited to watch him play. I do realize things can go wrong.
Best player in the country right now.
Affecting Michigan. Alex is doing a great job of just trolling with a straight face.
That's serious.
Iowa lost, so that will not be a night game. So that's huge for the Wolverines.
Iowa sucks.
Michigan should be 7-0 going into MSU. I feel comfortable saying that. I think they will handle Penn State at home in a night game maze out. I think they will win that game. So
Michigan
I think they'll be good.
Will not be undefeated going into that game.
Okay.
We have a brutal schedule starting right now.
We already talked about the boos, but my last bullet point made me giggle when I wrote it out. I didn't hear any boos. If you booed, you're a piece of shit. That's all I want to close on the Michigan game with. Yeah. You're just a piece of shit. But I understand wanting to boo in a moment. Booing at games is fun. You don't boo when that happens.
Good.
You don't boo
you
up
feel
50.
So good when you do it. You do feel so good when you do it.
So you did not boo once on Saturday.
Yeah, there was nothing to boo.
Well,
boo the
Jay
refs.
Johnson apparently.
Yeah, I should have booed Jay Johnson.
God,
well, then if I stood up and booed, it would look like I was booing
this week.
Thorne. I hope he does. I hope he calls a game like he did in Miami.
He will.
I won't be there, so. Lions Eagles, our first NFL recap of the year. See how we can get into midseason form here. But I'd just like to say that we as a podcast and a fan base will always have that first 5 minutes of the game when we just ran that ball down their throat. We scored and then got a big stop on defense. Everyone back-to-back pass breakups with Okuda and Awori. And we were just going crazy on the sideline like, we are back. We've
never been there, but
we locked the cage, as they say. Like, they are trapped in the den of Ford Field. And then turns out it's really hard to stop a mobile quarterback when you're not a great defense.
Too much man. Too much man.
I think we owe our listeners the truth. Evan was actively rooting against the Lions during this football game.
Evan wants Bryce Young?
Hand up.
Evan and I were together, and so we were in charge of tweeting for the day. And Evan had some tweets queued up that were just completely inappropriate that I could not send out to the world.
I love that. I was cheering for us at the end, second half.
Pure hate of the Detroit Lions.
It was pure hate. It was.
And some mean things said.
Some frustrating things that I've already seen this team do in the past, and like this team is new, but it was just repetitive. Like that stretch in the second quarter. Oh,
did see a stat? The Lions are like the worst second quarter team in NFL history in the last like 14 games. So there's that.
Wow, like the opposite of We're the opposite of the third quarter Warriors in the NBA.
Yeah, well, garbage second quarter team.
I felt bad for Stenberg. I think Logan's his first name.
Two false starts.
Two false starts on the first drive. Just not great.
I don't feel bad for him.
We overcame it, and we scored a touchdown because DeAndre Swift looked like a dog. He looked like he saw Alex's quote graphic.
That dog. Yeah, he did.
He saw Alex's quote graphic. He said, "God damn, I look sweet in that visor."
You're welcome.
I'm going to go out and ball.
Lions fans, you're welcome for that.
All that for a loss, but good fantasy points if you owned them.
Yeah, I know.
The Den was rocking.
Loud.
A lot of compliments from the Eagles after that game. I have some stats to spit out at you, Grant.
Spit them right on my...
Look, give me a second. I got to get them to load. Stall for a second. Sorry, I apologize. Stalling. I am bad at my job.
Progress.
Steal a piece of shit.
Progress from last year. Final score-wise, 44-6, 38-35. Improvement.
We're getting better. All right,
That's what that has to
now we care about PFF. Here's some stats, player stats that everyone is going to absolutely love / hate. Aiden Hutchinson, NFL debut. Bad. How would you say the pass rush went?
Bad. That's a great question because I think it was Ant Wright. He said, I don't think he saw the game. He goes, I see half the timeline saying he was okay. Saw half the timeline saying he was cheeks. Whereas everyone landed. It was very divided. I watched it. I thought he was okay. I don't think he was terrible. I just thought he looked like he was amped up, and he ran by some sacks. But he was a physical presence on the field.
I thought he looked tired.
He was graded out by PFF 121st out of
130,
121.
Oof.
Pass rush defenders on Sunday. Second to last.
Can only go up.
His run
Best
grade,
offensive line in the league.
Run grade, however, 25th overall.
Okay.
So his overall grade was 82nd, though, out of 124.
I need a pass rusher, Grant, not a run stuffer.
That's a quick side point. I can already tell. I want to give Aaron Glenn as much credit because I don't want him to knock on Alex's door. But can we stand Aiden Hutchinson up? Why is his hand in the dirt every play? Did you not watch Mike McDonald use him like a genius? He was a Heisman finalist. Stand him up and let him run. That will piss me off this whole year if that doesn't change at all, like in week 8.
It's going to help, too, when he's not going after a mobile, fast Jalen Hurts.
100%. He was fired up. He was getting into the backfield. He was just, wanted that first sack so bad that he was just running with, reckless abandon. He was
needed to chill out.
Yeah, he needed to get a hit of a weed pen on the sideline and, lock in and break down his hips. But he'll be fine, especially if they stand him up.
Okay, next PFF grade. Our boy, Malcolm Rodriguez.
Dog.
PFF's 12th highest ranked linebacker this past Sunday.
Urlacher.
Number 1 rookie for week 1 with a 73.4 grade on 46 snaps.
Ray Lewis.
80.8 in coverage. So his performance, week 1 performance, was PFF's 5th highest rookie week 1 grade the last 5 seasons.
Michael Parsons. Teddy Bruschi.
Not to forget that he was the 16th linebacker taken in the 2022 NFL draft. The 16th. And he came out as the 12th highest ranked linebacker.
Quay Walker.
Great evaluation
Devin
of
Lloyd.
Talent by the GM, Mr. Brad.
Yeah, bad evaluation on Levi Onwuzurike, who will probably never play for us.
Nope. Okay, next.
Bad.
Another PFF
and Josh
grade.
Pascal.
Here we go.
Too early.
We're going over to offense. Our boy, right tackle. Sewell.
Penny.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the grade.
PFF's 4th highest ranked
up.
week 1 offensive tackle.
Highest
Monster.
4th highest.
Trent Williams. With
a 79.8 grade.
I need you to stop doing that.
On 69 snaps. Nice. He had an 84.5 run blocking grade, which is 2nd among offensive tackles.
And he went full Superman to try to execute a screenplay, and I appreciate that hustle.
5th among all offensive linemen. This is his 4th highest individual grade of his young career so far.
All right, give us the bad grade.
Nope, there is no bad grade. This
was
is
just
Grant's
hunch,
grade.
Alex.
This is definition of Grant's grade. The next one. PFF. Jeffrey Okudah.
Oh, lotion.
Was PFF's 16th highest ranked first, second, or third year cornerback for week 1.
That's so specific, though.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Feels like you had to find something specific so it was good.
With 63.1 grade on 66 snaps. Hey, we're comparing it. Okay, now, Okudah had an 82.8 tackling grade.
It's second on the team in tackles.
Amongst all cornerbacks in week 1.
Okudah is a fantastic tackler.
His tackling grade was first.
So well. He wrapped up A.J. Brown once, and I was like, dude, that was
he's a good
solo tackle,
so he
aggressive.
Gave up 4 catches. How many yards do you think he gave up on those 4 catches?
4? Less than 20. 25?
Alex, you have a guess?
33.
Gave up 32 yards. His longest,
Alex.
What was the longest?
It was 12.
11.
Okay.
He did have 1 pass breakup. Devontae Adams. One guarding Devontae Adams.
The DPI was horseshit.
Devontae Adams
that was not passing.
Not Devontae Adams, excuse me. Devontae Smith.
The DPI hurt.
The Slim
I
Reaper.
didn't think it was defensive pass interference.
For being big.
4 targets.
It was not.
0 catches. 0 yards versus Devontae Smith.
Now, right. And one day he will draw coverage on the number 1. He will clamp A.J. Brown. Warrior got cooked by A.J. Brown. So that change could be coming sooner than later where we
Most
just throw
do get
Okudah
cooked by A.J. Brown.
On the 1. Okudah is a physical specimen, though. He's ready for those challenges.
The simple truth is, did Okudah look better than last year? Yes. Did he look lockdown number 3 draft pick good? No. So
I mean, he was the
the
second best player on our defense that day.
No, that's not true.
Yeah,
Tracy Walker and Malcolm Rodriguez were both better than him.
I don't think Malcolm was better. I think Malcolm had good plays and 0 missed assignments per Dan Campbell, but I don't think eye test wise he was better than Okudah.
Well, Tracy Walker more was plays. Way better.
Tracy Okudah was the best player on defense for us.
Okudah was the best player on defense.
Yeah, if you mix them together, they were our leading tacklers.
Walker was really good.
They mixed them together.
Our leading tacklers were those 2, which shows you how poopy our defense still is.
Isaiah Buggs is a monster.
Good at pass defenses.
He's a good football player.
Yeah, and I like his name, Bugs.
He's huge.
There's Bugs.
Yeah, I like that guy.
But yeah, Tracy Walker, 8 tackles, Okudah 7 to lead the team. That's not good. You don't want your secondary players being the leading tacklers.
Yeah, that's a problem, Alex Anzalone.
Yeah.
And get Derek Barnes off the field. He stunk.
Bad things. Mike Hughes bit on a ball fake really bad at one point. I wrote down in my notes. I just wrote down random notes as I watched the game. Will Harris got absolutely toasted on a play. I don't think him and Okudah need to split reps at all. I think I saw what I needed to see.
Will Harris, not good.
We were down 31-14 with 9 minutes left in the third quarter on our own 25, 3rd and 10. So to show enough grit to make it 38-35 is pretty impressive because that game could have easily gotten away from this team.
It's the exact same as the 49ers game last year.
Yeah.
I don't like Dallas Goedert. He was a big
He's pretty good,
whole game. Well,
for a tight end, he's pretty good.
We already talked about the PI. We talked about Rodriguez. He's good. Offensively, what I don't like as we talk about play calling. Also, is it confirmed Ben Johnson's calling plays? That's what it looked like when I watched.
That's what it looked like when I was watching it.
Sure seemed like it. And I enjoyed his play calling for the most part.
Second quarter was bad.
Yeah, it was bad. But it didn't help Jared
I just
Goff
don't understand how you can get into these lulls, though.
What I don't like, and I think this may be part of it, Evan, I don't know if you feel this way. I wrote down at one point, it felt like when we started a drive, like it was committed, like on this set of 3 downs, we're either going to all pass or all run. It was like, it wasn't like a mix. It was like, if we're throwing on first down and we don't get it, we're throwing again and we're throwing again. If we run on first down and get like 2 yards, we're running again and we're going to try to run for the 3rd down. It didn't feel like there was a good mix.
We did run for 1.
It didn't feel like there was a good...
we ran for a first down.
Who was saying that? I looked at Evan, I was like, Dan Campbell's going to run the ball every single play the rest of the year after that.
Yeah. Which we should. We should run the ball a lot. We looked phenomenal doing so. And there were big holes. And on the run game, I need, as we talked about last year, I feel like a broken record. I need 75% DeAndre Swift, 25% Jamal Williams. I don't need it 60-40 or near 50-50. When Jamal Williams comes in, not as good. Honestly, really not as good.
Jamal wasn't in that much other than the goal line.
I think he got over 10 carries, which is too many for me.
He had 4 in the goal line.
4 too many for Grant.
Because
it's like the situations where like they adjust, they counter it, and they have like 5 more guys in the box, 5 guys on the line, more guys in the box. Like you need to come up with something other than like outside zone, like boot action. Give me something on the perimeter. Let Swift use his speed. Like I'm tired of just running into the brick wall behind the offensive line, thinking no, they'll get a push.
Well, they did get a lot of push.
We did, but when they adjusted, it seemed like we took a while to adjust to them.
Now, Ivan, I have an important question for you.
I have an answer.
Are you the offensive coordinator for your middle school football team?
Yes.
Your team, because you've been just
of course he is.
hating on offensive coordinators. Your team put up 0 points in the half of your first game.
Okay,
so
also,
why
Alex,
should I keep listening to you tell me who's good at being an offensive coordinator?
Alex, I give them a play, and they can't understand what is going on in that play for 2 weeks.
Then maybe you made it too complicated, and you need to be a better OC.
Okay, Alex, here's the play. We're running inside zone right. What foot do you think you step with first?
You're right.
What position am I playing?
Your right foot. There you go. Boom. That is every single offensive position stepping with their right foot. Here we go. Inside zone left. Inside zone left. Who do you think you're going? What foot do you think you're blocking?
Let me try right. See if I get crossed up.
No, you're going left. Replace Steph punch. Okay,
coach me.
Now here we go. Inside zone. We're breaking it down super easy for them. Okay, zone right. What gap do you think you're responsible for on zone right?
The one to your right.
Yeah. Yes, Grant. This is easy. Right. Okay, zone left. What do you think gap you think you're responsible for on zone left?
To the left. It's just a Cupid shuffle. It's just a Cupid shuffle.
To your left. You're responsible for the gap to your left.
Well, all I'm saying is, Evan, you're talking a lot of shit for 0 points score.
Alex, you didn't ask you how my 2017 JV offensive coordinator year went when we were racking up points.
I'm sorry. I did not. I was not aware of this miraculous season.
Thank you.
Spider 2 Y banana.
Well, we'll need to keep the people updated on how many points Evan's offense scores.
Yes.
To tie a bow on Swift, Jamal Williams. Tell me this
Switch is way better, yes.
Swift, 15 rushes, 144 yards, 9.6 a carry.
Great average.
Jamal Williams, 11 rushes, 28 yards, 2.5 a carry. Swift should have if Swift does not touch the ball at least 20, he touched the ball 18 times in this game, not enough. I would even dare to say 25 times a game via the run and pass. You shave off 4 rushes from Jamal, give Swift 19 to 20 rushes, let him catch 5 passes, no complaints from Grant. You keep involving Jamal Williams when he runs in the back of linemen, is not as explosive, complaints from Grant.
Is Swift hurt? He didn't practice today. This could be a reason.
Justin
Jackson just got signed to the 53 today as well.
We had an extra man spot, and he's going to be the kick returner.
Because That's bad.
What's that? What's that?
I just gave you the answers, Alex. Gave you the answers.
Just saying, they might just be trying to ease DeAndre Swift into a heavy workload.
It's Wednesday's practice is precautionary. You get
Tuesday off. I'm telling you in games, Evan, they were trying to ease him in. They don't want to give him 40 carries and ruin his body.
Well,
Grant and I aren't talking 40. We're talking 20 and then 5-6 catches for opportunities. That's all we're
talking touch that ball 25 times.
Well, you got to get Jared to throw him the ball, okay?
Well, he's used to
not usually more than like 5 yards downfield.
Yeah. So have we tied a bow on? We're not going to talk about the worst pick 6 I've ever seen.
No, that's Jared Goff hour. You just can't have that. I don't know whose fault it is.
That's
I don't
your
know
guy that you support, Jared. That is Grant.
We all support this entire football team.
The miscommunication on that route.
Goff. You have his jersey.
Do you guys support Jared Goff?
I will support the future direction this Lions offense is going.
The human being I support, I'll
support him as long as he's quarterback for the Detroit
It would be
Lions.
pretty sick to have Bryce Young in Honolulu Blue next year.
With Jameson Williams, like that tandem. Remember seeing them in college? That's pretty cool.
You guys already declared Jameson Williams a bust, so.
No, we didn't.
No, Alex, that's not what I'm saying.
Evan told me he'd be back for the Patriots week, and not going to be back till November. So
you know who I didn't notice in the game Sunday? Jordan Davis. What did he do?
I didn't either.
Different team, Alex. Different situations. You're telling me Jordan Davis wouldn't play on our current team?
Just saying. You're going to talk all this shit about our own Jordan guys, Davis, but I didn't see him doing it.
I didn't see Jameson Williams out there either. I didn't even see him in a jersey.
Net neutral.
Confirm.
No, Jordan Davis played.
But he didn't do anything.
I saw how big and mammoth he was out there.
He's a big guy, there's no doubt.
Jordan Davis would play for the Lions.
Yeah, it's not hard. You'd play for
the
Lions.
I wrote this down. You guys will remember it better. But just like the same old Lions stuff, we missed Josh Reynolds. We didn't. Jared Goff missed Josh Reynolds on a wide open crossing route that you just have to complete when you're trying to come back in a game when you're against the clock. And then we had a fumbled snap that led to a sack. I mean, those are just losing things. On top of the pick six, like when you throw a pick six, I'm sure the nerds would tell us like you have like a 10% chance to win the game if you throw a pick six in a game. That just feels right. But even then, like you get rid of that and then you still do dumb things where you miss a wide open guy and then you fumble a snap that leads to a sack. So they still, like Dan said, with those dirty pants to shake out all the dirt. They're just still doing those things that's just like teams that win don't do that. So it'd be good if we stopped doing that.
Yeah, my final point would just be moral victories. I am not about that at all. I'm sick of watching this team lose by 3 points every week for the last 10 years. So, yeah, I'm not happy, and I'd like to win a game next week. And I'm sick of this spiraling out of control.
Alex, amazing podcasting. There was a question you didn't know about from a listener. Or actually, wait, you may have seen this on Twitter, because I think this was a Twitter one. From Sam. He says, why are we celebrating losses? I'm way too tired of this crap.
Well, yeah, there's my answer.
You're not celebrating.
I don't celebrate losses.
Me either.
Evan?
I do think we're better than last year.
If you watched the way that I was...
You were celebrating the Eagles' win.
I was. Good for Jalen Hurts. He's underrated in the NFL.
He can't throw.
If you watch and listen to what I was saying during the game, you would know that I'm not celebrating losses.
In fact, you'd think Evan didn't even like this team.
Well, Evan will flip if we're bad enough to celebrate losses for a high draft pick.
Absolutely. End of the year. I hate that garbage win at the end of the year, i.e. the Packers win last year.
Didn't affect anything.
No, because we got our guy. Yep. Even though Trayvon Walker had a sweet debut. But that doesn't matter because we played the best offensive line in the league. Almost
returned it for a touchdown.
Thank God he didn't.
That was sick.
Onwards.
Wait, we have a couple listener questions.
Where did these come from?
Ben V.
Oh,
the next ones.
My
last thing I just want to say, we have to acknowledge DJ Chark mossed Darius Slay, so that was cool.
After a horrendous start, yes.
No, but he just had to get warmed up. He's going to be a dog.
Hope so.
These are both about, one is from the Chief of Prop, one is from Ben V. They both revolve around game management. Chief says, why are most football coaches awful at managing the clock?
Some of them are god-awful. Did you watch the Monday Night Football game?
I did. Evan?
Okay.
Why are
this
they
is
awful?
my first thing. I saw that comment.
As a middle school coach.
As a coach that
this
practices
is about you,
game
actually.
situations. Yes, this is about me. I have this theory that, game situations, coaches only put it in like 2-minute drill for all the players to understand. And they have a script. They have their script and practice plan. We're going to do this, and this. Okay, I'm going to call a timeout. Game situations, they never practice for themselves in situations because every single game can't be scripted like it is for practice. They practice all the time for the players to understand game situations. The coaches never practice for themselves game situations.
Easy fix.
They never do that. And in situations, I think coaches are also too stubborn. Like, in this situation, of course I would do that. Of course I would call a timeout in this situation. And then in a game situation, their butthole puckers, their balls are up in their throat. They know what to do, so they just panic and freeze.
I fixed the problem. When you said that, it just became crystal clear. Did you say you had a fix too, Alex?
Yeah, I said just practice.
This is my fix. This is a little bit more. This is Alex's, but a little bit more detail. You're a head coach. Dan Campbell. He tells a low-level assistant, let's call him Bob. Hey, this is in training camp.
Bob's gonna be so
Bob,
good.
we have 21 training camp practices. Bob, in 7 of the practices, you are going to Bob just has a whistle. You're going to use your whistle, Bob, or an air horn, and you're going to stop everything. And guys say 2-minute drill, unscripted, go. So coach doesn't even know that this is happening. Like nobody knows but Bob, and he has the power. 7 practices out of 21,
drill.
And he just and then it's 2-minute drill, offense, defense, unscripted. Dan Campbell on the hot seat, figure it out, manage the situation. But so no one knows but low-level Bob, who has no decisions on game day to make. So this is just fun for him. Boom.
It's fantastic. Has to happen. Has to.
It makes way too much sense.
If coaches are going to coach players, someone needs to be coaching the coaches. You got to hold them the same standard. The standard is the standard, guys.
You need I don't know when it's coming. What Evan's saying, you don't know the in game though. I still am not convinced that a lot of coaches delegate the whole clock management to someone. I think we've heard rumors that Belichick does with Ernie Adams in New England, that he has an overseer who just knows all the numbers, knows all the situations. Every team needs to have that because you can't have a coach that's worried about working the refs, personnel. A lot of guys, head coaches call plays, are involved in offense. Some people want to call plays like Dan Campbell. You can't be worrying about all that and then the clock. That is why clock things get messed up because you're thinking about too many things at once. And then you blank on the simple things of the clock. You need one guy in the booth that's all it's just called clock guy on game day. Clock guy, game management guy. That's all he does. And then as a coach, put your ego aside. When he buzzes you and says, we're doing this, you say, yes, I agree.
Coaches' egos are at the top of the list of stubborn, do it my way. This is why there's so many problems. And the Denver situation was a joke. I could not believe what I was watching.
I appreciate that he admitted he was wrong and that they should have gone for it.
Yeah, but he didn't know why.
Ben V's was similar. He's saying, is the game management strategy stuck in last year's aggressive approach? Are we better? Do we still need to be onside kicking it?
The onside kick was not my favorite decision by any means.
You were anti-onside kick?
There was a ton of time left. Yeah. Seemed that is what a losing team does.
It's what a losing, desperate team does. I didn't hate it, though, because our defense couldn't stop. It didn't matter if they got the ball at the 50 or the 25. I think they were going to score no matter what.
I don't know. I would rather have seen how it played out.
Ben V, last question. Evan, you answer this one. Is it fair to chalk up TJ Hawk as an underperformer for this tenure as the Lions? Or is that too early to declare?
DJ Chark?
TJ Hawkinson.
TJ Hawk.
TJ Hawkinson. I thought you said
Could you
Chark.
imagine?
I was like,
one game. Wow.
Underperformer.
So far.
Yes. He is in his career. Injuries, consistency. Now, granted, he has not had great quarterback play. That would be on his play. But also, you have to be held to the standard of where you get drafted. That's just how the NFL works.
Standard is the standard.
And when you get drafted first round, I think, 7th or 9th overall?
7th.
Gronk.
There's high expectations. High expectations.
Travis Kelce.
And, the NFL only has, 3 or 4 dudes at tight end that are yeah, these are the cream of the crop, and then it's everyone else.
I'd say 3 right now.
Rumors and talks that he could just eventually take that leap, and he hasn't. He's, kind of complacent. I think
he tried to hurdle too many guys in his first couple of years.
Yes. I'm not calling him a bust because he's still valuable to the team. I'm just saying hasn't lived up to the expectations.
He's a bust for where he was drafted. It's plain and simple.
I love you, Alex, when you just you know what?
Top 10 tight end, and he's not in a top 10 in the league. Yeah. Bust.
Yeah, but 100% standard of where you're drafted is the standard. If we drafted him in bust. if we drafted him in the 3rd round, we'd be yeah, it's a great pickup. He looks good.
100%.
So it's not fair to him.
It's his fault for being drafted that high.
Right.
Don't draft an offensive player from Iowa. Everybody knows that.
Be worse at Iowa. Well, George Kittle.
Well, he never plays either, so.
He does get hurt a lot. I count him as one of the 3, though. I count Kelce, Andrews, and Kittle as the 3. Maybe Darren Waller. Yeah. Need one more year.
He's close.
Mark
Andrews.
Okay, very last thing. Sorry, I just wrote down Aaron Glenn was just dialing up 7-man blitzes, and it was working. So that was stunning to watch.
That's pretty cool.
He just lined up 7 guys on the line, and they all blitz. Usually one guy falls back to play middle of the field. Nope, all 7 in the backfield, and it worked every time. So maybe see more of that. We move on to previews. We'll start now with U of M UConn because it's the worst game.
Nothing to say about this football game.
U of M minus 47.5 versus UConn. Noon kickoff. Sorry. I have done my homework on the announcer guessing game this week.
Former NFL coaches coaching against each other.
Yeah, Jim Mora. Basically said Harbaugh is the best coach ever in his pregame press conferences.
Jesus Christ.
Given the classic, his team is so good. Out of line.
Sorry.
All right, Evan, you get one guess, and you get like 15 seconds to guess on announcers this week. So
Michigan UConn game.
Can I get the channel
on ABC?
It's on ABC.
Dusty Dorvacek.
You get 15 seconds.
Oh, is it the guy Michigan State had week 1 with the giant
now.
head?
No,
you can rattle off
Andre
names.
Ware is the Friday. They're the Friday night guys.
You can rattle off names if you want, but then you have to.
Saturday at noon, and it's just another dog shit game.
Yep. 5 seconds. Just spit out a name.
Oh God, I don't know any names besides Dusty. That's like home to Alex ruined
Dave
it for
Passion, Dusty Dorvacek, Tom Luganbill. That's my guess.
All right. Bob Wischusen and Roddy Jones.
Bob Wischusen has to call this game. I feel so bad for him. He has great voice for football.
Only thing I just want to see JJ play more. That's it. I want to make sure it translate again.
Hawaii game. We just get to the bar when like they finally start like playing, and like Michigan had like just got the ball. I don't even know. There's probably like 4 or 5 minutes into the game. I don't even know if it's been that. Probably 2 minutes. And I'm sitting there laughing. I'm like, they haven't even scored yet on Hawaii. As those words are coming out of my mouth. No joke. Hand on the Bible. No joke. As those words are coming out of my mouth, JJ just throws the bomb on that first drive. And so I was like, oh, that was fast. I was like, well, I'll shut up. And that was probably like the end of like me I'll glance over there every now and then. But it's basically going to be the same thing. UConn's a little bit better than Hawaii.
A little bit.
Redemption tour for UConn's quarterback, former Penn State quarterback, Traquan Roberson, played in the Iowa game last year, threw like 2 interceptions and couldn't do anything.
Oh, God. Now I remember him.
He's the quarterback for UConn.
That was a top 5 matchup. People forget.
Yes. I don't have any previews. I guess I would just say, can Cade repeat his perfect week from last week?
Cade? You mean JJ Evan?
Sorry. Cade's way better
wants
than
Cade to be the starter.
Yes, I do so bad. JJ. Let's see if they can run the ball a little bit better or without JJ's legs.
This will be the first Michigan game I'm half tuned into, so there's that.
Because of timing?
Just because we've had a game.
Now,
I guess I could watch a little bit if I wanted to.
I might just like flip to it occasionally. Once
bad
it's
for you, Alex. Your guy, I don't believe I'm monitoring. I imagine they sit him if there's any risk. Donovan Edwards got banged up against Hawaii. So he's probably a scratch just because you're playing UConn. And then freshman CJ Stokes will play a little bit. I keep watching the defense, really, just because I feel good about the offense. I'm obviously going to watch it and hope JJ does well, but I'm going to watch the defense and hope they're still getting pressure and flying around.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be watching this game. I'm sorry.
No,
listen,
don't
I'm not
apologize.
going to be watching this game. I'm just saying I might glance at it more than I have the last 2 games.
I'll be dialed in to JJ McCarthy. Actually, no, I think I have to work Saturday, so I probably won't see this game. I'll probably watch back on Matthew Loves Ball.
Unless you lose.
No, I'll watch it back if they lose.
That would be stunning.
MSU Washington is on ABC.
7:30. Mark Jones.
7:30.
RG3.
You already know it?
Yeah. We've been speculating all week.
I had this big bit like, oh, this one's easy, let's move on. And you're like, oh, yeah, it's Kirk. And I was going to make the classic like lack of a brand joke that they bumped it for Mark Jones and RG3.
It is a joke that they did that. But
it is kind of a joke because isn't
We
the
don't
9?
even get
What's the
Sean
9?
they're going to
We don't
Miami, Texas A&M instead.
Yeah.
I told you, Alex.
Bump team. We got bumped.
And Quint Kessinich, don't leave him off this 3-man crew.
We're supposed to have Kirk.
I just realized this is the first game you guys are going to be watching on TV. This is huge for you guys.
Yeah. Evan will be at a wedding, so who knows how locked in Evan will be.
Yeah. First game I will watch from the TV since the Ohio State game.
Well, it's a long time.
I'm sorry, guys. Predictions of Michigan UConn.
52-0.
52-7. 58-9.
Ew, Evan. Why do you always give the worst numbers?
They don't cover.
49-3 because they pulled JJ again.
49-3. They don't cover again, Grant. Wow. Your team
no, because then they put in Cade in the third half.
Cade refuses to go in. Man, that would be a headliner.
That'd be stunning.
Grant, awesome. I think you should lead with your Michigan State-Washington preview.
Well, the first thing is my brain struggles to say Penix instead of penis, so I'm going to struggle with that all week leading up to the game. It's just when I see that name, I just think of that. I have not watched a single second of Washington football. Been busy, haven't gotten to it, lack of prep, chop me all you want. So I just see the box score. I'm box score watching. Both teams have played booty teams, so it's hard to say what's going on. Now I know this Washington team is better than last year. The Washington team last year was a joke. They lost to an FCS team their first week of the season. They have Michael Penix, who can actually, he's a wild card. He kind of reminds me of Talia Tagovailoa, but he at least can make plays on the air in the ground. I saw a picture of him. He looks absolutely yoked. He looks great. He wears a visor. He's going to pass the eye test instantly. He's going to look like Colin Kaepernick out there. My hater gut wants to think Washington can win this game, but my brain says that it's Michael Penix. There's still remnants of the Washington team that Michigan stuffed in a phone booth last year, and when they actually face a real team, when Winman is down Penix's throat, things could go bad. So that's my preview.
What a preview. Wow. What a preview. Evan?
Where are your guys' head?
I'll let Evan go first. Evan's negative, so I'll let Evan go first.
Extremely nervous for this game.
Yeah, Evan doesn't want Michigan State to be ranked in the top 25.
We don't deserve this. It's just like last year. We don't deserve to be ranked.
Blah, 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 blah. Same shit every week.
Extremely nervous for this game. The Miami game, I was super nervous last year, but I think I'm more nervous for this game.
Because there's no expectations.
No, Alex. It's because I know what this quarter I'm going to get out of Penix Jr. from the quarterback play. He's in a better offensive scheme in Washington compared to Indiana. He's completing 70% of his passes. Yes, Alex.
He's in the exact same offensive scheme as he was at Indiana with Kalen DeBoer, who is his head coach at Washington.
His offensive coordinator is now the offensive coordinator at Washington. I'm just saying.
Yeah, okay. Continue. It's basically the same scheme.
Tom Allen.
Yes.
Yeah. Indiana's
his influence is not in the hand of Washington like it was in Indiana.
It's not a defensive mindset of team.
Correct. This is I'm going to throw the ball 55 times a game. I don't care about time of possession. I don't care about field distance. I don't care about all of that.
Yeah.
That's why it's different.
To hammer home your point, 66 attempts, 69.7% completion.
70%.
Nice. 183.5 QB rating, 341 yards per game, 6 tutties, 1 pick, 0 sacks taken.
Now, I'm not worried about the run
They're playing
game.
nobody.
I'm not yet. Yes, they have played nobody. We haven't played anybody. So it's fair, split across. Just looking at the talent-wise, they don't have as much talent as they did last year, but still, they can complete 70% of their passes whenever they ask to. Our secondary has struggled.
Yeah.
Even against Akron, their starting quarterback, 9 for 13 for 120-some yards, 150-some yards.
He was moving the ball.
Moving up and down the field. The only reason we got away with it was because of the turnovers. If you can develop turnovers in the secondary's got a hold. Now, the only difference Penix hasn't seen is our speed on the field compared to what he's used to from Michigan State. We have better pass rushers.
Ben Van Sumeren.
Our linebackers can run side to side. And I don't think they'll be able to run the ball as much. So it's just a matter if you can rattle Penix. You got to get him to roll out to his right. You got to get him to get off platform and throw.
To your running back point, it looks, based on stats-wise, again, blowouts, but it looks like they do kind of like a committee approach. They have 4 guys that have gotten at least 10 carries. Top guy with 23, second guy with 18. So it's not like they have an absolute workhorse to worry about.
I'm extremely nervous for this game. I could see this going very bad.
Especially very bad. Like multiple possession loss.
Like turning into like the Purdue, you lost by 10. You needed to score the last possession just to attempt an onside to get the ball back.
Okay. It
is going to be loud in there.
Nightmare would be if Giles Jackson is good, because that guy we know is a punk.
He has 2 fumbles.
Oh my gosh, I heard a very, very off the radar rumor about Giles Jackson over the weekend.
What is it?
I can't say it on the podcast.
Oh.
No.
All right, post-show. He has 1 fumble, Alex, and he lost the fumble.
Yeah, sorry. That's what I meant.
But
he got crushed from behind on a kickoff.
63 yards a game. Their top guy averages 107 yards through the 2 games and 3 tutties, which is Jalen McMillan.
Yeah.
So, Alex, Captain Optimism,
give
us the Kool-Aid.
So I've watched both games as a national analyst here.
Matthew loves ball.
Not a backs. Yeah. So, Washington's not going to be able to run the ball.
Okay.
So that is a good point. That they're already going to be one-dimensional. Now, you'll be like, well, I watched every team play Michigan State last year throw the ball all over the field 65 times a game. True. Great point. Whoever would say that back. Michigan State's pass rush is better. The corners look better. I'm not going to declare them better yet. Amir Speed is better than Marquis Lowry getting thrown out there against Ohio State. No offense to you, Grant.
Yeah, it was uncalled for.
So I think defensively, this team is better than last year. Leaps and bounds. It'll make a difference. Michael Penix, every Michigan State fan points to 2 years ago when he completed 20 passes in a row, or 3 years ago against us.
Still won that game.
They lost. So yes, Michael Penix has played well against us. He threw 2 picks against us in the COVID year. So he just did not scare me. I'm not afraid of Michael Penix.
24-0 though.
Well, yeah, we were Rocky Lombardi had some of the worst interceptions I've ever seen in my life. So defensively, I think yes, they're going to move the ball. They're going to score points. It's not going to be 52-0. But I wouldn't. It's not like we're facing Ohio State last year or even Purdue. I wouldn't. I'm not as worried as those two games. Offensively, I think we should be able to run the ball down their throats. They're pretty weak inside. Their corners, they had 2 first-round corners. They now have 2 FCS transfer corners that are hot garbage, to put it nicely. Kent State was beating them down the field, blowing by them several times.
Looked nice.
Kent State's a good team. I think they were in the championship game in the MAC last year.
I think they were. They moved the ball really well.
Kent State scored 20.
They just made dumb turnover mistakes.
Akron.
So ultimately, it'll just come down to Peyton Thorne. If he plays better and is even remotely better than the last 2 games, I think Michigan State will win. And I'm not nearly as concerned as Evan. Some bad things. We have not won on the West Coast in a non-conference game since like 1985. Granted, we haven't played that many, but we haven't won any. And Big Ten teams in general going out west are like 1-12 in the last 13 games.
That's why we canceled the UCLA game.
You canceled that, Grant. Now tell your Michigan fans that you guys canceled it, not the other way around.
Michigan canceled the UCLA. And also Michigan canceled the Washington game after COVID canceled it. They said we're not coming back out there. It was going to happen this year. And now you guys are out there.
Thank you. You're an honest man.
Yeah. The cupcake schedule is boring, but I like winning.
Yeah, I'd take a cupcake right now.
It's nice not to have a stressful Saturday.
I know this about Washington. I think it's going to be hard for Michigan State to run against them, I would say, just based on offensive line play, they did look good against Akron, but it's Akron. You just know Washington is going to have some big old Samoans that play the middle of.
But they don't this year. They do have some Samoans, but they're not as. They're not as big.
They'll be one of those.
They're
He's
not
gonna
as
have
big.
like hair out the back.
They're
He's
not
gonna
Levi
be like
Onzarekis.
4 bills. No, Levi's a freak. I'm talking about like some just big old boys. They're gonna be like Vita Vea is gonna be sitting there at nose. Like you're not running the ball.
This is not a great defense. I'm watching.
This is not your father's Washington team.
No. I mean, their corners are.
Alex, look at some.
They're Fresno State. You're saying they're Fresno State, but in purple.
If we played Fresno State right now, we'd murder them.
So guys, it's the debut of second season of people's favorite topic.
Yes.
I thought about trying to like change the categories this year, which I'd like to make them more specific and funny, but for this game I don't really feel like I have anything good. So I'm going to give you 5 options and you'll pick one. Expecting a loss. Low key, think they could win. 50-50. Must win. Fire somebody on staff upon a loss. I'll go first. I think this game is a must win. I think you need to remind the country that the Big Ten is better than the Pac-12. And a loss in this game, although on the road, would set us back at least a week.
Set us, yes, it would set us back. Right?
The conference.
Yes, my bad.
Must win. You're the better football team. You got to show the country why you're ranked the way you're ranked. You got to show that last year's not a fluke. And I hate losing. This is a must win. I'll be pissed if we lose. Very mad.
I will be pissed that we're going to lose, but I'm saying this is 50-50.
That we're going to lose? Jesus Christ.
No, I said I'd be pissed
if we lose.
Get Ryan
Cadmus on the podcast.
I said it's 50-50.
Okay. You said if I'll be pissed we're going to lose.
I'll be pissed if we're going to lose.
Okay.
If we lose.
If we lose, if we're going to lose, if we lose, if we're still score less points than Washington, I'll be pissed. Okay, but I think this is 50-50.
God, you're giving Washington a lot of credit.
50-50 parentheses, not sure if Peyton figures it out.
Everyone's giving Washington so much credit. I don't get it.
Must win, parentheses, Big Ten better
Alex,
than
all about
Pac-12.
They beat an FCS team, Evan.
Akron's basically an FCS team. Alex, it's all about your quarterback play. If you have a somewhat good quarterback.
No, I don't think Michael Penix is good, so there's that.
Well, Peyton Thorne is actively working on his form because he's missing people. He said as much. That worries me going into a big game.
Just don't throw Kean Coleman and you'll complete 75% of your passes.
Well, Penix is completing 70.
No, so. I'm not out on Keon. I'm just out on Keon and Peyton's chemistry at the moment, as the stat I mentioned earlier.
That's just every throw's a deep ball because Keon is like the DK Metcalf, just run a go route. That's all he's running.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's early in his career. I'm not saying he should be better. That's just what he runs. Prediction time.
Predict a loss, Evan. Be right on brand for you.
24-23 Spartans.
Jesus. Criminy. It's close.
What? Yeah, it's good. It's like a tiny spread.
All right, Evan. Drop that fat L on the table.
I'm saying
drop it.
33-29. Michigan State.
Wow.
34-23. Michigan State.
Wow. Spartans in a sweep. Hammer the Huskies money line. If all three of us picked it.
Plus
Washington's pretty good last year. Last year, all three of us like taking the teams we liked worked out pretty well because they had phenomenal years.
I think you guys both took Miami.
I did take Miami.
I did take Miami.
I did not.
Right, because you drink the Kool-Aid. You
drink national analyst. Really good at picking football.
I'm into those blog posts, so they said we could do it down there.
Mel Tucker wipes his sweat in a cup and you drink it.
I'm really good at picking football games. College football games.
Colby would like a word.
Evan, you are
defending champion. Thank you. That's all I needed to hear.
You are bottom 3 in the
defending champion.
Dude, it was a rough week for Cormac.
Cormac went like 0 for 9.
He doesn't even know
to start. I think he finished 2 of 11.
You hear that? He doesn't even know what he's doing. Because I know ball.
You should always talk that close to the mic, Evan. It's really Yeah. Really crisp. Lions Commanders, quickly.
Lions Commanders and
first time the Lions are favored in 24 games.
That's crazy.
Must-win football game for the Detroit Lions. I know we're not doing the meter, but that is a must-win game.
Win.
I'm comfortable doing the meter. The meter does 2 graphics. I'm not putting Michigan UConn on there. It's a must-win for the Lions.
Must-win
Carson
football
Wentz
game.
Beats the Lions. That means Carson Wentz is better than Jared Goff.
And that means I was right. I'm the only Carson Wentz supporter on this podcast. I did last year several times.
Well, the good thing for us, Evan and I, bad thing for you, is Carson threw 4 touchdowns in the first week. No chance that guy has another performance like that in his bag. He is not that guy. He is not him. I would expect he's more likely to throw 4 picks and 4 touchdowns in this game. Lions by 10. We're back.
By 10.
30-20.
Well, I was going to say 31-21, so I'm also all in on the Lions beating down on the Commanders.
And if they don't, slop fest.
I'm tuning out.
I'm going 2017 game-winning field goal at the regulation.
Evan, we just put up 35 points against the Philadelphia Eagles, and we're going to put up 20 against the Commanders.
I just said it's going to be a slop fest. So, yes.
The Commanders.
Hutchinson get the strip sack on Carson Wentz. I cannot wait. Okuda picks him off as well.
We have to win this game because Justin Jefferson is going to have 400 yards receiving against Jeff Okuda next week.
Here's my message. What did you just say? You heard me. No, I just heard a bunch of yards against Okuda.
Justin Jefferson's going to have 400 yards receiving against Jeff Okuda next week, so you need to win this football game before that
I think
happens.
Amani's going to draw that assignment. At least I hope so.
Well, then 550 yards for Justin Jefferson.
My message to the Detroit Lions, based on how things shake out this week, I will be sitting down on my couch, my new wings in hand, watching this game from start to finish, so you better put on a performance. It's the first time in a couple of years I've been able to sit down and watch a full-length Lions football game, and I'm going to do it. And I'm going to write my notes as I do it, and you better perform.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I watched Lions-Packers Monday Night Football, and that was sweet for a little bit. Jared Goff had the drive of his life, hit Cephas, then hit a dot to TJ Hawkinson. We were back. Then we got blown out, but it was a game for a while. It's a must-win.
Go Lions.
That was weird.
Evan and I used to do that in the dorm room.
Oh, Michael Penix.
Michael.
You think anyone will adopt the whole practice situation where you give Bob the blowhorn and you just tell him the 2-minute drill?
They have to.
Great, you haven't ended the podcast yet.
No. At Shot of MS. Everywhere. Any social media platform at Shot of MS. Or you can listen to the show, not everywhere. Only the 3 main platforms. Apple, Spotify, YouTube. I think we're a Spotify-heavy audience from the numbers from that one Google form we did. So I guess go Spotify if that floats your boat. Please like, subscribe, leave a review. Subscribe, unsubscribe. That's what part of my take tells people to do. Seems to work out for them. So just keep doing that. Share it with a friend. Talk about it. Be in the comment section. Say egregious things. See if we respond. I don't really care. Just interact. Even if you don't like the show and don't want to listen to it on mute on 2x speed. It still counts as a play. So with all that being said, cheers to episode 88. I'm going to drink the melting of this ice cube.
Cheers.
Cheers to Adrian Week. Big time showdown Friday night in Indian Stadium. And cheers to the wedding season Saturday. Let's have a weekend.
Cheers to Drew's family celebration.
Let's do this damn thing.
Cheers to Adrian Week. Fun fact, when we played football, because the rivalry was so intense, Andrew refused to step foot in the city of Adrian on rivalry week.
That's not true.
That's for
his
the
mom.
team.
His mom told my dad that.
That is for the team.
At the game. That is real, Alex.
You have to leave that on the pod.
I'll just bleep out the last name. But yeah, that's true.
All right.
And also, last thing.
This is it. No, the podcast is over.
Look how big this ice cube is. I bought a legit tray. Oh, it's true.
You want us to get excited about a piece of ice.
I respect it. It's a nice cube.
But like that's been in there since.
It's a good cube, yeah.
That's been in there for 2 hours and it's still that size. Like it's like one of those big squares you put in like just a Manhattan.
Are you drunk?
No. A little sleep delirious.
Delirious.